All right, good morning. Great to have everyone here today to celebrate new beginnings for upwards to hopefully would be around 27 newcomers, high school players. Really excited about this group of players that we're bringing in. Expected to be about 13 on defense and 14 on offense as of right now. But I would be remiss if I didn't. I just want to thank our staff for their relentlessness, for all their work in helping put together a top-notch recruiting class, building the program the right way with amazing people. And this isn't, obviously, it goes without saying that this isn't the last month or so that they've been working tirelessly. It's really several years in the making. And I'd also like to thank all of our players. You don't attract the quality of the people that this class represents, both as people and players, without, being a shining example of what we want, in our locker room and how we do what we do. And I always believe in young men in our locker room having a multiplier effect. And so several of our players, obviously, throughout the year have given their own testimonials to these recruits and their families, or certainly have hosted the players along the way. And so the players that don't have a lot of time, they've given their time to continue to help us build the program the right way. And they value that. That's part of that OU DNA and the brotherhood. That these guys are having an impact for years to come, even after they're long gone. So I would be, again, negligent if I didn't thank them and several of our current players' families as well. But really excited. We'll represent 15 different states as of right now with the high school kids, and the majority of those players, almost half the class coming from the state of Oklahoma and the state of Texas. And but really feel great about the lines of scrimmage. And, we have, when it's all said and done, with a few of the portal additions that we'll have, give or take 16 up to 16 offensive defensive linemen that'll help us again reinforce the trenches where the game's won and lost. But I love the speed that we have in this class. And I love the physicality of this class, both sides of the ball. We got great physical size at receiver, and then we have guys that, are lightning fast at both receiver, running back at the skill, tight end. Really excellent group. You got two really good young quarterbacks, and Michael Hawkins and Brendan Zerberg from Ohio that bring a wealth of experience at the quarterback and the high school level. Incredibly talented guys. They got all the right stuff to them from a leadership, instincts, humility, toughness standpoint. Really love the defensive line. I know we've talked about that as being, again, something that everything starts up front, as the saying goes, and it couldn't be more appropriate here with our own David Stone here from the state of Oklahoma via IMG, and Nigel Smith, Danny Okoye, Jaden Jackson, and Wyatt Gilmore, and Danny being another in-state product and from Tulsa. Really excited about that group of guys up front, combined with the guys that we're going to have coming back, transitioning, going into the SEC. We've got length, size, power. It's still a developmental game, but these are guys that have a tremendous foundation, already, and again been well coached. That's going to help in their transition as well. James Nesta, multi-sport guy that's going to play baseball, a pitcher. He throws over 90 miles an hour. Really appreciate the Coach Johnson and the baseball staff. They played a critical part in recruiting James as well, and giving him an opportunity to pursue both. But he's, he looks like Danny Stutzman, except he's, instead of 235, he's about 215 right now, and but he's got great length and just a great frame, and can run. And man, he'll smack you like a rattlesnake. Man, he is very explosive, natural speedy contact hitter, great instincts, range. I think he can play all three linebacking positions. I love the secondary. Got a group of 7 in the back end that can has tremendous versatility, physical stature, great instincts. Just good football players, whether it's the top player out of Kansas and Michael Boganowski or Eli Bowen, who's one of the best football players in America. It'll be really cool to have him along with his brother here in the secondary. But I'll be honest, and I told Peyton this a year ago, if you don't come, I'm still recruiting your brother. And I told Eli, even if we don't get your brother, I'm still coming after you. So, he's probably had as much ball disruption plays the last few years of any defensive back that I've seen. Just a great player. Jaden Hardy, he played everything, for his team there at the Lou in one of the best programs in the state of Texas. He can do it all, both sides of the ball. Just a very natural football player. His intelligence is beyond his years. Devon Jordan, right here out of our own Tulsa Union. His instincts, his ball skills, the things that he can do, his speed. Just a big-time player, and he's a big-time human being as well. Just an amazing young man. Jeremiah Newcomb, y'all remember Bobby Newcomb for Nebraska at the quarterback position. Really cool to there was a tremendous mutual respect for Bobby Newcomb, back in the day, and to see him now as a head coach in this great state of Arizona, and his son being one of the star players on their team. Again, a really committed young man that is just a natural DB and a ball hawk. Glad his dad didn't let him play much quarterback, even though he did play a little bit for their high school team. But Jeremiah brings so much to the table, and just a natural skill set that's going to transition really well. Another local product, Michael Patterson McDonald, had a fantastic senior year. Really a disruptive safety that can do a lot with all the things that we like to do with our safeties. And then Reggie Powers comes from a great program there at Centerville High School. Is physically tough as a player that we signed in this class. Looking on again up front, offensive line, Josh Isosa from Edmond Santa Fe, one of the best linemen in the state. Just a fantastic player. He's got size, athletic ability, great agility. He's really worked hard at his game and his development. Isaiah Autry from Mississippi, who's got great length to him and tremendous athletic ability. Just finished up at both the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, and then went down and competed really well down in at Frisco in the All-American game as well. Eugene Brooks from the state of California, just a real natural, powerful guard, just great girth and size, really nimble, and he's got a great story about just his development, and he's lost 50 pounds over the last couple of years, and he's still a mountain of a man to really create a lot of opportunity for himself. Got a great testimony. Daniel Akinkume from England. Our first from overseas, and the physical traits that he brings to the table, just incredibly intelligent, well-spoken, sharp, focused, mature. Really expect Daniel to come in here and make this place better right away. And just got a great, again, testimony as well, and a light inside of him that's really infectious. And then our last commitment, Eddie Pierre-Louis from, again, another product of Tampa Catholic, Coach McIntyre and their staff just doing an amazing job down there, teammate of Lewis Carter. And again, Eddie brings great natural size and power, great speed, sub 13 second, 100 meters for, 320 pound. If you saw him in person right now, you'd think he looks like a 3-year NFL vet defensive tackle. Just he's incredibly lean and loves to work out, and but just a great student, really a smart young man as well, and a brother that plays for the Buffalo Bills and went to the state of Florida, and again, Bill did a wonderful job of putting this group of linemen together. And we got a great group of receivers that have the versatility of size. and Zion Kearney and Big Ivan from West Texas. These are guys that have speed and size, toughness that you want guys to play with. They have a physical maturity about them as well that's going to translate well. And then, our speed, at our other two spots in both Zion Raggins and KJ Daniels that are both sub 4.4, 100-meter 4.40 guys, and fantastic, breakaway speed and explosiveness that's going to really, create, opportunity. Our Gatorade Player of the Year as well, and really excited, about Xavier, Robinson, and back-to-back state champions there at Carl Albert. Love the environment that he's coming from, a winning, tough-minded environment that is about accountability and discipline. They get the most out of their guys, and so these guys understand, they're coming from Carl Albert, the standards that are expected, day in and day out. I think our first commitment was Newcomb, and again, our last commitment was Eddie Pierre Louise, and then one of our most important commitments was Devon Mitchell, and he's graduating from Los Alamitos High School via Allen High School there in Dallas. And again, he's got the size, the speed, the athletic ability, the versatility at that position that really is going to give us something that's unique in that tight end room, moving forward. Again, really excited about the group of guys, and we're certainly not finished, but that should be, we anticipate 27, 28 guys when it's all said and done. We'll see how that works out. And then upwards to 10, transfers. A year ago, I think we signed in January 42, 43 new scholarship players, and we'll be just south of that moving forward. I'd like to also, I know this is about, signing day, but it's also about, just finishing up with Team 130 as we finished up our last practice yesterday morning in preparation for the Alamo Bowl. Really excited about where we're at in our preparation and what's ahead. The matchup against a really good Arizona team, an Arizona team that went 9-3 again, and they lost 2 games in overtime. One on the road at Mississippi State, one in triple overtime to Southern Cal, and they lost by a touchdown that came down to the last drive of the game to a 13-0 Washington team. So we got a tremendous opportunity, tremendous respect for the University of Arizona. I think they only have 8 players that have ever played in a bowl game. All 8 of them are transfers. First bowl game for them in 6 years, so they're going to be incredibly excited to play. I think they've got one player, left tackle, that's opted out, and everybody else for them will show up down in San Antonio. We've got, obviously we were there just a couple of years ago, a great win against the University of Oregon with Coach Stoops at the helm, and so a lot of memories in that regard. We only have 10 scholarship players that were in that game, and so a lot has changed since that time. But again, really looking forward to the hospitality and everything that the Alamo Bowl, the Valero Alamo Bowl represents is first class. And so our guys are really excited. They're going to have a few days off, and we'll get back together on the evening of the 23rd and then head on down on the 24th. Moving forward, our players, I'd like to congratulate them. We had 79 players finish the semester, 3 straight semesters of academic excellence. We averaged 3.0 GPA as a football team, and we had 79 players that had a 3.0 GPA or better, and that you just don't look up and have that happen. That's culture, that's recruitment, that's nurturing, that's standards, and then that's the effort by our academic support staff. What an amazing job, that they do. And sometimes they don't get our players until after practice or after a long day, and so the things that they're able to do to motivate and challenge them is pretty special, and I don't take that for granted, but that's what it looks like to me. Nothing is more important in our program than helping these young men as they navigate their athletic careers, and that's what gets a lot of the headlines. Nothing's going to create more opportunity for them than having their degree, and so that that's the the number one purpose in this program, and we're not going to lose our way as we chase excellence on the field as well. It's got to be represented off the field. So that's what it looks like, and I'm really excited to announce that to you all as well. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions.
We'll get to as many as we can. We do need to be done by 11:10 for another event. So let's start with Eric Bailey.
Grant, you mentioned transfer portal. I just want to ask you, sometimes you have recruits that you may not get, but in the era of the transfer portal, how important is it to part those relationships with solid relationships, because you never know what will happen in the future?
Well, I think people that you talked about not getting, I think sometimes what's reported and what actually whether or not there's a real pursuit can be two different things. So first of all, I would say that we're very intentional. We don't cast a big old net and throw it in the middle of the ocean and see what we get. We are very intentional, looking for the fit, looking for certainly positionally and what we're looking for from an athletic standpoint, a competitive standpoint, leadership standpoint, character standpoint, and again, how they're going to, come into this program and make a deposit, not just on the field, but make this place better. Do they bring value? And because I know, again, this can be very short relationships. Some of these guys will be here just for several months, but it's important to me that we find young men that are going to bring value to our locker room. And so in a very small window, as you alluded to, it's recruiting on steroids. Everything happens really fast. You got to use all your experience and connections and relationships to try to find out as much as you can about these young guys, because that's how I protect the culture of the program. And I'm very culture-centered, fit-centered. Again, I'm looking for people that make us better, guys that can, we're not looking for backups, and we're looking for guys that come in here and make us better, going to make the guys in the locker room better. I tell the players all the time, my job is to put together the most competitive roster I can. Your job is to show up every day and ready to compete. And if you don't like to compete, good luck when you leave college, because the real world gets even more competitive. And, teaching these young men the value of hard work and commitment and keeping your head down and control the controllables. Sometimes, young people and old people alike, you get distracted by things that you can't control. And so for the players in our locker room, my expectation is they come in here and, they adhere to the standards of the program, bring value every single day, show up with an appreciation and respect for their opportunity, and chase their best every single day. And regardless of who does or doesn't come in, and when they do come in, man, embrace everybody. And that's the expectation when we recruit and sign these guys, that, again, you're going to get what you earn. You come in there, and I want you to get in the back of the line and show up with effort and toughness and competitiveness. And but obviously, when you sign guys out of the portal, sometimes it's because you lost a lot of players, like we have up front. But we've got 5 high school guys, and we look to sign 4 offensive linemen to go along with the returning players that we have, and to get to our numbers. Those numbers aren't ever going to change, where we feel like we need to hit those numbers to have competitive depth. And but I want a locker room that's about development. I think that there's a certain level of attractiveness from certainly a high school, but from a portal standpoint, and what we can do from a resource standpoint, the coaching acumen, whether it's the strength and conditioning, it's the elite recovery, it's the nutritional opportunities, and certainly the X's and O's, the schemes and things of that nature. I think the young men are looking for continued development as well to help propel their careers beyond the University of Oklahoma. But for our own players, this is a developmental game. The more you practice, the more challenge that you have, the more change that you can create, and the improvement. Usually your best players are guys in that 4th and that 5th and that 6th year, because of experience and the maturity, how you think, how you show up every day, usually translates to, consistency on the field. And so really, again, excited about, this is our 3rd class that we've signed since we've been here the last 25 plus months, and think this is our best one up to this point in time. The test of time will tell. We've got several young players that we've talked about that are in our locker room right now that had tremendous roles. I think out of the top 20 ranked teams in college football, we had the most snaps from freshmen and redshirt freshmen. And again, winning 10 games, it says a lot. It bodes well for the future. Certainly our older guys, guys like a Dylan Gabriel or a Drake Stoops or a Woody Washington, Isaiah Coe, I can go on and on and on, and all the returning players were a big part of that as well. And but with this group of freshmen, again from 15 different states that we're bringing in here, couldn't be more excited about where we're at. And as we're transitioning, always want more, always want better. We're not where we need to be yet, but we're going and trending in the right direction.
Ryan Avery.
Yeah, Brent, I wanted to ask you a little bit about David Stone's recruitment. Obviously, being a local kid who had gone elsewhere for high school, how did that play out, and what were some of the unique things about that, and how important was his commitment when it happened to sort of generating some momentum for that class, especially on that defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, again, you're looking at, obviously if he were here in the state, arguably whether it's Devon or it's Xavier Robinson or, David, competing for the number one player in the state. David's tremendously talented, but he's got a lot of the right stuff that you want. And everybody loves David that's met David. He's got a really endearing leadership qualities to him. Humble, hardworking, tough, smart, really smart, articulate. He's a leader of young men. Players follow him. The uniqueness was, that's over a 2-year relationship with he and his family. So you love that, being a relationship-driven program. You want it to be about that. This is a forever decision for each and every one of these young men. And, for David, again, it's probably one of the longest relationships that we've had. So he is a great leader, and guys will follow him. He's got a tremendous respect in both in high school football and in that circle, the recruiting circle. So he'll have some influence there along the way. But really excited. I want to, like all these guys, help these guys take off all the burdens of expectation off their shoulders. And at some point in time, he's going to show up here and he's just going to be 18 years old. And all these guys are they're just babies trying to figure out life. They don't have all the answers. There's a development piece that's going to be very real. There's going to be some immediate challenges for each and every one of these young guys. Our job as a staff is to meet them where they're at and to take them where they can't take themselves. And, my job is to take away the burden of expectations that are there from recruiting, from competition, from sometimes just from home. And help these guys just be 18. And let's just have a great day today. Let's just move in and have some fun. Let's go to the first testing, time in the weight room, and man, let's have some fun. It's just football, and quit worrying about someday. They all sometimes get worn down by someday, and let's just have a great day and a great moment right now. And someday you'll be a junior, and someday you'll be a senior. Someday, God willing, you'll have an opportunity to go play, in the NFL. But you're living your dream out right now. Don't get ahead of yourself. These will be the good old days right here and now. Enjoy it while you can. Make the most of it while you can. Give it everything you got, and you can live with that. And so you mentioned David, and there's many of these young men that have high expectations that they've put on themselves, and then outwardly, when you come to a place like Oklahoma, with all the notoriety, and again, you got the depth of the media that's here. I would just say, just know that they're 18 years old, and they got all the same problems of any 18, 19, 20-year-old young person. It's there's moments of doubt, there's moments of maturity where you're not quite where you need to be. You got things going on at home. Just life happens, nonstop. And so as exciting as this moment is, and as a new beginning, there'll be challenges along the way, and there's be some amazing moments along the way as well. But this is a day again of celebration, and David amongst all the other amazing young men and the families that get to join the Sooner family forever. What an honor it is to have all of these guys represented from 15 different states, and excited excited for David, as well as we are with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, Brent, it feels like defensive line recruiting is more difficult than it's ever been. Why do you think it's so hard to recruit elite defensive linemen, and how crucial was it for you guys to get this kind of a class?
There's just, it's a law of supply and demand. There's just not as many of them. And it's been that way since football, became a sport. And so, rushing the passer, stopping the run, the lines of scrimmage, it's where the game's always been won and lost. So that's not a new revelating thing, but there's just not as many of them, that are able to play at a really, really high level. And so there's a body, you're looking for certain, dynamics and, your length, your size, your power, your quickness, your ability to, from a refinement standpoint, to rush the passer and, recreate a line of scrimmage, block recognition, the fundamentals that go along with it. Not everybody's developed the same way. And so we've got a group of guys that really have a unique skill set, but also have some, a tremendous foundation of fundamentals too. And probably, when you look at the front seven, the area, if it's not strength and power, that young people aren't quite there. If it's not that, it's usually the use of hands and block recognition. The linebackers on the second level be able to get off of blocks, and same thing, the block recognition for the guys up front, be able to, to be able to play the different blocks the right way, and then transition from run game to your pass rush. And those things usually take a little longer, but this is a group of guys that have been incredibly well coached, whether it's, again, you look at Nigel Smith from Melissa, when you drive on down I-35, head south, and you come to Melissa and the new stadium that's there. It's very reminiscent of what you saw Allen, Texas several years ago, and the commitment to football in the great state of Texas is a very real thing. But the depth and the level, the excellence of the coaching. Obviously, we're signing a couple guys from IMG. We've had great experience through the years. Jaden Jackson and David Stone, they're going to be very well coached and have a little bit more of a mindset of what the routine in college looks like, the commitment and those types of things that day in and day out requires. Danny Okoye, although he played in a homeschool league, his talent is freakish. His development is really, they did a nice job at Noah and getting him to this point. And then he's been a guy that's a football junkie, worked on his craft on his own, and he's got great humility, great self-awareness, really intelligent young guy that has really worked hard at developing his game. And then again, one of the top players, if not the top player in the state of Minnesota, in Wyatt Gilmore. We identified, Wyatt a long time ago as a guy that, man, he's got all the stuff that the great ones have. He's got a motor, he's got instincts, he's got a great get-off, got a great body, really refined. It works hard at, all the fundamental things of the game. And but what I love, this is a hungry group of young men that have humility, the physical toughness. They love the game, have all the right characteristics that you want that's going to help continue to promote growth and development quickly.
Coach Taylor has signed. Do you want to say anything about him?
So, and Taylor Tatum, again, from Longview, we know what that program represents. We've had several Sooners that have come from, the University of Longview, and, Coach King and what that staff is all about. You're going to get somebody, another multi-sport player, and Taylor Tatum, he'd take the top off the defense. He's a home run hitter at running back. His power, his speed, his instincts, just very reminiscent of some other great backs that we've had from East Texas, and some of the skill set, and got great size and power. Tremendous baseball player. Is going to play baseball here at the University of Oklahoma. And again, another, fist bump to Coach Johnson and the staff for all of their help in facilitating the recruitment of Taylor. An amazing family. And again, coming from a program that has very, very high standards and expectations, and again, the physicalness that the game requires, this is something that he epitomizes. So, he has great speed and really intelligent, smart young guy, but he's got the physical stature as well that's going to help transition quickly.
Back Parker.
Yeah, Coach, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, the nucleus, your class is from Oklahoma and Texas, but, you did go grab a kid from Minnesota, as you mentioned. You got one from North Carolina, from Arizona. You went overseas to get Daniel Akakumi. What do you credit that ability to recruit from pretty much anywhere to, more so than anything else?
Yeah, the standard of Oklahoma. People remember decade after decade after decade after decade of Oklahoma excellence. And so I would just say it goes back to all those coaches and players that have represented Oklahoma for such a long time. It's a true blue blood. The door's always open for a program like Oklahoma. There's an attachment to Oklahoma that winning and excellence and development and toughness and championships that has been represented. And so that's the memory of everybody from coast to coast and now again, across seas, internationally as well. So there's an attachment, when you sign up to OU DNA or the Brotherhood, that these guys recognize the value of that. And so we can get into really any home across the country.
Brent, you mentioned the word intentional earlier and value. As you stack these classes now, top 10 classes or whatever, you've been up against the SEC. You've seen it firsthand. A lot of your staff has been in the SEC, seen it firsthand. You guys getting what you want to compete in that league?
We're always working to be better, and we certainly are competitive. We want more, and we're going to need more. Whatever that means, it's all-encompassing. It's incredibly competitive. It's relentless. It's year-round. It's challenging. There's smart coaches, and there's a lot of programs that have a lot of resources, just like Oklahoma. And so it's a very real competition, and one that isn't just going to go away. You're going to win some and not win some, but you need to win more than you lose. And so everybody here in the program, from the president all the way to the athletic director, and then everybody else, the recruiting staff, the coaches, the families, the players, everybody, there's a real commitment to it. I don't think there's anybody here that doesn't recognize, what's in front of us right now. Recruiting's always been competitive, but you're going to go to a conference now that the resources are very real everywhere you go, that are either every bit as good, if not better, than what you have. So you got to be resourceful, certainly got to be committed to our philosophy. I don't want to go into another 10-minute answer for everybody. I know we got some questions to answer, but we want to, as college football is becoming more and more transactional, we want to continue to be relational. I believe that has, longevity and sustainability. But at the same time, things have changed dramatically in the last 3 years in college football. That goes without saying. And the fluidity of rosters is a very real thing. The lack of stability of rosters is a very real thing. And so we've got to be adjustable and adaptable and be aggressive along the way, not just reactive, but be proactive. And I believe that's the vision and the philosophy that is shared throughout our university community. Yep.
It's 11:10, time for one more.
Okay.
James.
Brent, you're baseball guys. It's interesting. Both are highly.
You're a baseball guy, right?
Yes, both of them are highly thought of by Major League Baseball, and yet both said one of the reasons why they're coming here is because you worked it out and Skip worked it out, that you could work out this dynamic. But talk about that dynamic and how you make that work.
Well, again, I wouldn't say as much me and Skip and the baseball team is willing to do that, but I think the attractiveness of how well our baseball program has done, the history, the tradition, certainly they did a great job of selling those things. I think that attracted them as much as anything. That combination of the excellence of Oklahoma football, what it's represented, and the excellence of baseball. I personally don't think that we would have gotten either one of them had, the football been a powerhouse and excellent and have the history and tradition, and then the baseball program stunk. I don't think we would have got either one of those guys. And so a credit to Coach Johnson and, again, the past players and the excellence that our baseball program has represented as well. That's the collaboration between the two staffs, and then certainly there's a willingness. I think it's such a cool thing when you have players that have that type of extraordinary talent. What a cool thing. Let's have him be in our locker room and let's watch him chase, other dreams in multiple sports, bring our team over to the baseball facility and cheer him on, if it's a track athlete, what a cool thing. We want to promote that, not segment it. And so what a celebration. I know it is, south of here with Coach Johnson and his staff with both, Nesta and Tatum.
Thank you, everybody. That's all I have time for.
All right. Appreciate everybody. Merry Christmas.